The U.S.-Canada trade tensions seem to be cooling down, with President Trump announcing a pause on tariffs on Canadian goods. Meanwhile, Ontario's largest construction union has shown its support for Doug Ford in his re-election campaign, praising his commitment to skilled trades and investment in the future. In a recent development, President Trump has announced a 30-day pause on the threatened 25% tariffs on Canadian goods following a phone conversation with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The decision came after Canada agreed to implement a $1.3 billion border plan, including increased security measures, the appointment of a fentanyl czar, and a joint task force with the United States to combat organized crime and fentanyl trafficking. Premier Doug Ford of Ontario welcomed the move, emphasizing the need for cooler heads to prevail in negotiations. However, Quebec Premier François Legault expressed concerns about ongoing uncertainty and the potential for retaliatory actions. The pause provides an opportunity for further negotiations and diplomatic efforts between Canada and the United States, as they seek to reach a final economic deal. A significant transformation is on the horizon for Liberty Village in Toronto, with the proposed construction of a 55-story mixed-use tower at 147 Liberty Street. If approved, this high-rise will become the neighborhood's tallest building, boasting 732 residential units, 12,270 square feet of office space, and a generous 23,637 square feet of amenities. Designed with a transit-oriented approach, the project prioritizes public transportation and cycling over private vehicles, providing only 30 visitor parking spaces and encouraging sustainable mobility. Stay tuned for further updates as the proposal moves through official channels. Ontario's largest construction union, LUNA, has announced its support for Doug Ford in his re-election campaign. The union represents over 120,000 workers across the province and praised Ford's commitment to skilled trades training and investment in the future. The Residential Construction Council of Ontario also backs Ford, citing his strong leadership in addressing the 25% tariff threat from the U.S. and the housing supply crisis. Ford has invested over $60 million in skilled trades training for LUNA since becoming premier. Peel Region has received $5.19 million in grants from the Independent Electricity System Operator to fund energy recovery and conservation initiatives at 2 water treatment facilities. The GE Booth WRRF will receive $2.39 million to upgrade its aeration blowers and implement an energy-efficient ammonia-based aeration control system, projected to save 12,000 megawatt-hours of electricity annually and cut greenhouse gas emissions by 456 tons. Meanwhile, the Clarkson WRRF will benefit from a $2.8 million grant for a cogeneration project and an ABAC system upgrade, projected to save 14,165 megawatt-hours annually and reduce GHG emissions by 538 tons. Both projects are expected to be completed by the fourth quarter of 2026, reinforcing Peel's role as a leader in climate action. A new report from the Energy Transitions Commission highlights 3 key priorities for achieving zero-carbon buildings: electrification of heating and cooking, improving energy efficiency, and low-carbon building construction. Transitioning to electric and efficient technologies, such as heat pumps and electric hobs, is essential for decarbonizing heating and cooking. By 2050, 80% of energy used in buildings could be electricity, bringing emissions from buildings close to zero. Energy efficiency improvements are crucial to manage the rising demand for air conditioning and electrified heating. The report also emphasizes the importance of reducing emissions from construction materials like steel and cement. And that wraps up the Ontario Construction News Daily Podcast, Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. I've brought you news on the latest developments in Canada-US trade, the proposed Liberty Village Tower, union support for Premier Doug Ford, energy efficiency grants for Peel Region, and strategies for zero-carbon buildings. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to stay informed about the latest news affecting Ontario's construction industry. You can also view the latest news at ontarioconstructionnews.com. This podcast was created with the help of AI, so feel free to reach out with any questions or feedback. Thank you for listening.